Hey there, time for Pilates, and we're going to start rolling out our upper back, our scapula, and shoulders. So you could just begin with your roller across your mat, and let's go ahead and lay back onto the roller. That's right across the tip of the shoulder blades, that area there. Make sure you're aligned, nose, sternum, navel, pubic bone, and then support the head with your hands, kind of cupping the skull with the heel of your hand and your thumbs. And then begin, we arch back. Just stretch the abs and stretch the throat. Exhale, coming forward and up, chin to chest. You can pull the elbows together and in. So arcing back here, flaring the elbows open as you go back into extension of the thoracic spine. And exhale forward, your flexion with the whole spine. As you come up, look into your tail, it rises. As you go back, the tail's going to sink into the ground, so you can stretch the full front line of your body. And exhale forward here. We inhale to go back into extension. Hey there. And exhale forward to flexion. Just one more time like this. Sitting the elbows out, lying down to the middle of the hips. And coming up, pull the elbows together to broaden across your upper back. Now from here, maybe the feet in a little closer to your hips. We'll lift the hips up in the air, and we're going to push and pull, rolling across the rib cage. Don't go onto the neck, don't go below the ribs. So as you pull the knees forward out over the toes, drop your head, lift your hips up in the air, a little extension, and then flex the spine as you push off of your feet, lifting the head, look down at the belly, which sinks towards the floor. And again, stay on the ribs. Press into your legs to lift up, use your glutes to push them as high as they'll go. Elbows wide and down. And then pull the elbows forward and in as you come up into flexion. One more time like this. Really massage up the full length of the thoracic spine, so the ribs are. And then exhale from here. The flexion and extension is not necessary, but it's helpful because what it will do is it will give you more pressure, more weight into the roller to get a deeper tissue massage there. So recommended it. But if you ever get confused, just go back and forth and it still will be useful and helpful. All right, so now we're coming back down. I'm going to pull this forward a little bit and we'll lift the hips again and twist the right to go up and down on the lateral part of the right scapula. So push pull here. About 5 to 7 inches along the scapular outer edge. And then let's come to center and then twist to the left. Get the rotation of the upper body. Looking for places that really need a release. And the back line of your body is strong, pulling your hips off the ground. The fill is working into your legs. And then let's come back to center, lower your hips. And we're going into the full body rotation now. So you're going to lay on your side. I'm going to lay on my right side. The roller now is angled, so it's going to be higher towards your face, lower towards your back. And you'll drape the roller, drape your body over the roller, supporting your head, both hands. Hold the skull again, and you're on your sideline here with bent knees. So as you exhale, you tuck the chin to the chest, pull the elbow down, hug the roller between your arms. Inhale, bring your gaze across the floor, up the wall, and then you're rotating back across the roller with your shoulder blades. You want to end up in a place where both shoulder blades are supported and hang back in extension. So you might need to change the angle of your roller or the position of your body on the roller to make that happen. Now, as we come forward, don't just lift the elbow, don't just bring the head forward. Start with the top knee, pull the hip forward, and work up your spine. So you gradually pull from the bottom to the top of your spine, and then hug the roller here at the end. So let's do that again. So starting with the gaze to move the head and then move the neck. Then you start moving through the rib cage. You can feel the pressure of the shoulder blades and your upper back into the roller. Hang back in extension. You'll let the hip be heavy into your hands and so feel the weight of it supported by your hands. And then coming forward, knee and hip, the bottom leg stays grounded through the whole thing. And then we exhale all the way around, working the spiral. This exercise is a favorite for a lot of my clients. Of course, the golfers love it for rotations and tennis players. And you know, it just feels amazing to get that diagonal stretch across the abdominal wall and then across the back. But you really end up putting a lot of weight, a lot of pressure into the upper back to help release tension in the shoulder. And that helps your neck. One more time. Going all the way around, opening the chest, letting it pull back. And then exhale forward and around. Hug the roller again. And now we're going to the other side. I'm going to come up and turn to face the other direction. So this can be intense if you're really tight in your lats. So if you have a hard roller or if you're tight, you may want to put an extra pad here under your armpit. And again, so hips are stacked, knees are stacked, heels in line with the tail. And we hug the roller, looking down and embracing it here. Feel the stretch as the blades separate here. And then start to roll back. Open the chest, fall back behind, try to keep your knees at least together. The top one might slide back a little bit, as could the top hip. And then we're going to pull the knee forward, the hip forward, and then work up your spine, sacrum, through the lumbar vertebra, through the thoracic vertebra, through the cervical vertebra, until you close yourself in and hug the roller here, and then taking it back again. Back here, we're going to fall back, chest into for extension, and then come forward and up. Use your exhale to pull the weight of the rib cage around and forward. So I say the main thing to remember in this exercise is you start the movement going back with the head and working down the full length of the spine. And then on the way back up, start with the knee and the hip, and then work up the spine from the tail all the way to the head. Just doing one more here. Open the chest, falling back, stretching the abdominal line on that diagonal, and then exhale, coming up. You'll end up pulling from your obliques as you rotate those vertebrae one by one from the bottom to the top. If you just got here, welcome, and you may want to do a few on the other side. If you even yourself out, let's now take the roller across under your hips. Then lay onto your back, lift your hips up as you do a bridge, and you can rest the sacrum on the roller. Hands hold the roller in position. And then let's just pull both these into your chest. Lift the legs up to the ceiling. And we're going to get a stretch in the legs as you bring your right leg back and the left leg forward in scissors. And then scissors switch again here. So inhale, switch once. Exhale, the reverse. Of course, it's great to let the leg reach out into space and try to go down. If you're trying to touch the mat, that effort will give you more stretch in the hamstring and the lifted leg. And you push the legs through the air. Toes are soft, so you don't want to over grip through your feet. Just a general curve into the arch of the foot. Think of air flowing through the toes, or water flowing through the toes, so that they're not gripping, they're not too over engaged. And then we'll lift both legs up and move into your bicycle. So when leg pulls in, the other leg reaches out, lower the foot down, try to slide the foot across the mat, reach the other leg out, that one pulls in. Really find your range, really stretch the leg away from the hip. Feel that length increasing with every single breath, every single repetition. And it's a deliberate stretch of the leg as it comes back into hamstring lengthening And then a reach forward to get the hip opening as well. We're going to reverse when you're ready. So slide the foot down across the mat and then scoop the air up with the top of the foot and the top of the shin. And again, still reach back as far as you can. So you're not skipping the stretch in the back of your leg. Maybe notice how this really asymmetrical work shifts the weight onto the sacrum so it starts to get a little bit of a release. And then let's bring both legs up, fold the knees in, and just rock the knees side to side. Continue to pull the shoulder blades to the ground. You can turn your head in the opposite direction from your knees. That'll give you a little more chest opening and you'll feel like more rotation. And of course, if you hit a spot that's particularly tense, maybe stay there and do micro movements back and forth across that area. This is why we love the roller. You know, to give that self massage where you need it. When you need it, you don't need an appointment. You just need a roller and some time to focus on yourself and the movement. Okay, we're doing one more to even this off. Coming back to center and just slide both legs forward, both arms back, open up the front line, stretch to the abdominal line, open your hips. If it feels like it's too much, you could do one leg at a time, or you could bend your knees, or just bring the arms back to hold onto the roller. Any of those adjustments will lessen the stretch so that you feel like your back is fine with this. However, if it feels good, it can feel great. So just let yourself reach across the room from fingertips to toes. And just one more breath. Take a deep inhale and then exhale it out slowly. You bring the arms back, slide the feet back in, bridge up to come off the roller and then push to the side. And here we're going into your upper up curl 400. So you can come on up, the arms slide forward, pull the legs in, and then extend them out. Start pumping the arms, inhaling and exhaling. Pressing the edges of the feet, the edges of the legs together. You're pulling the head up and tipping the chin down. You look down your nose at your abs. Inhale, feel the chest wall expand as the lungs expand inside you. Exhale as you empty the air out of your lungs. The rib cage roots together and pulls back and down. Inhale, and then the belly will also expand. We're doing abdominal breathing here. That's what they say when they're talking about inhaling and the expansion of the lungs, pressing the diaphragm down. That moves the organs and the belly expands. And then as you exhale, contract the abdominal wall and really pull the belly deep. They'll move the organs back up, move the diaphragm back up, and empty the lungs completely. One more breath. Exhale everything you can out. And then let's hold these in, lay your head down. Turn your head easy from side to side. And then we can stretch the legs forward for our roll-ups. So lengthening the legs, they're together some point with the feet, bring the arms up, anchor the shoulder blades, wide chest, and then slide the arms back towards the ground, but without overarching the spine here. Bring the arms up, we lift the head, neck, and shoulders. Exhale, and pull the body up off the ground, pull the waist back, and dive the spine forward. Remember, you can use a bear band, holding onto it and wrapping the band around your feet for a little bit more support. Also, you can use ankle weights here. They'll make it easier to rise and give you a chance to really refine sequencing of your vertebra off the ground and then onto the ground. It pulls forward, the blades melt behind you. Feel that stretch in the back of your legs as well as your low back. And then you're trying to rotate the pelvis around the femurs. Come down with control. Arms lower would be easier. Arms higher will give you more load. And we'll roll. Let's lift to come up. Hold here, bounce over your legs, stretch forward, and then we're taking it back to do our rollovers. So once you're down, we'll bring the arms forward, and press the arms, the length of the arms into the ground. Pull the knees in, extend the legs up, soft point through your feet. The legs go forward, bring them up and overhead. Exhale as you push off the ground. Open the feet, flex at the ankle, and then reach back through your heels as you pull your spine down here. Another option would be to take a roll up under your hips. So you start with an elevated pelvis. Push down, it'll make it easier because you don't have the distance and the weight to lift off the ground, open flex. Reach out for your halo, let your gaze stay up and slightly back so that your throat is open, you can breathe, and if necessary, talk. So we're coming up a bit over here. Open flex, and down you go. Press the legs forward, point, open, and lift. Close, flex at the ankles, work your spine down. Really try to delay by pressing through the palms, as well as the length of the arms. Take the legs out to your working level, point, pull the legs open. Coming up and over. Flex on the tail is lifted, you're not collapsing your spine. Flex and bring it on down. We have one more to go. Press the legs out and over. Hopefully you can feel like it's easier. With every lift, as your body becomes more flexible and you start engaging into your core strength. As we come down slowly, leave the right leg in the air, soft point. Left leg goes forward, flex that foot, and you bring your right leg forward on the diagonal you want for tree. So tree is roll up with the one leg in the air. Again, you can use the TheraBand around your lifted leg if that's helpful for you. So we come on up, chin to chest, left hand to the back of the right leg. You walk hand by hand up your leg and pull yourself up with your abdominals and then also your psoas muscle. So that tall here and now tuck through the waist back. Lift the tail up the wall in front of you and then pull yourself down to the ground. The hands follow you down and you lengthen them at your side at the end of the movement. Lift to come up again. Exhale from the hard part, lifting the ribcage. So that nice and tall, widen the collarbones to drop the blades. And then find that pelvic curl, tuck the pelvis, it's a posterior tilt. Try to reach the legs out long without changing the position of either of them. One more to lift. Come all the way up, chest wide and high. Inhale, bend your elbows, lift the leg up, exhale, press it away. Bring the leg high and then press it down. And then leave the leg in the air. You can either roll your spine down and walk your hands down your leg, or you can go hands free, like out with both feet. As you pull down, provide some opposition for more control. And then we scissor switch the legs. Right leg down, left one out and up. If the angle of the leg is too high, you're not going to come up. So you want to bring it as high as you can and still be able to move. So let's lift to pull up here. Come up and then broaden the chest, the shoulders down your back, the heart rises. And then curl back, and pull the ribs back between the scapula, down your leg, place your spine right down the midline of the mat, lengthen the arms at your side at the end of the movement. Coming up again here, gaze is to the inside of the leg, so that way you protect yourself from twisting or angling the torso. And then we're coming back down. I'm trying to work in that same plane here with and the hips. Lift to come up one more time. And this is an exercise when you first start it, almost everybody needs an ankle weight on their bottom leg. So we're going to lift the leg up and then exhale, press it away. Try to feel the leg in your waistline. And see if you can come forward and up on your sits bones. I just adjusted my own position because it's really easy to come back. And then we'll curl the tail and roll the spine down. And straight if you wish. Imagine holding a ball between your arms. Squeeze in, that gives you a little bit more control through the upper abs. And then lift the leg, fold the knee into your chest, hug it in tight, and then release it, reaching for the TheraBand to do the single leg circles now. Okay, so we're starting with the right leg pulled in. Place the band around the ball of the foot and the arch of the right foot, and lift the leg up to the ceiling. You want to get a nice stretch here in the back of the leg. Do a couple of point flex with the foot. Let your elbows down to your waist so that your shoulders are relaxed, your neck is lengthened and easy. We're going to end with a point for that foot and begin the circle. Inhale across the body, keep the right hip rounded, exhale, go down. The left hip is down as the right leg circles out around to the ceiling and up. And then reach. Keep pushing out through the foot into the band. There's enough tension on the band so you feel the support of the band. This will let you have a bigger range of motion for the leg movement than you would if you weren't using a band to support the leg, of course. But it also gives you a chance to really feel your obliques and how you're working to hold the body, particularly the pelvis, level and grounded here on your mat. So the circle is only as big as you can maintain stability through your torso. Pause at the top, reverse. Out to the side. Rotate externally, pull it forward and around in neutral. Internally rotate to bring it across, come up to the ceiling, neutral again. So there's a rotation of the leg on the hip socket, that's called circumduction. It gives you the best fit of the femur head into the joint surface. And it'll feel great for the leg because you're working the muscles the way sort of the design allows best. So reach here, hold the opposite side of the body, grounded and heavy into the floor. We'll come to the top and do one last one. To really enjoy it, short inhale, long exhale. That way you feel the deep abdominal contraction at the top of the movement. Now, we take both ends of the band in the right hand and open the right leg out to the side while holding the left side grounded. You either have your hand on your hip bone for a little more stability here, or extend the arm out. If you find that you tip the pelvis up, bring the leg up, reset the hip, and then take the leg out again. That way you won't, if you cheat inadvertently, you can fix that. You can bounce the leg a little bit here towards your shoulder and away, just gentle, nothing crazy. And then exhale, pick the leg up to the ceiling, switch your hand. Hold the band in the left arm, the right arm extends, you look at that hand, and you spiral the hip, the waist, and the beginning, the base of the rib cage off the floor here. You keep your shoulder blades pressing into the ground, and you push that foot out long into the strap, and then give it a little rotation from the femur, from the thigh bone, to point the knees down and the toes down. Exhale, we roll across it diagonally down the body, left shoulder to the waist, to the right hip, lift the leg up to the sky, and then pull the leg back in. Maybe you have a little bit more range. And then we fold the knee in, embrace it in tight. Let's actually pull it a little bit to the right armpit, so bring it slightly out to the side. And then come back to center and stretch that leg forward and down. And then just shake out both legs. Notice how the right leg wants to externally rotate as it relaxes into its new form, its new positioning. And now let's pull the left leg in. So I'm going to tighten your body first. The right leg still stretching down the mat. And then we'll take the band and place it on the left foot. Lifting the leg up to the ceiling, extending the right leg forward directly in front of the socket. And we pull that leg up, hamstring stretch, soften the knee if you need it. And then point and flex the foot a few times here. Articulating through this foot. Feel like as you lift the heel, how you anchor down to the sits bone to increase the stretch to the back of the leg. And then we'll end with the soft point. And we circle, elbows close to the waist. Inhale, pull the leg across the body. Feel that outer hip stretch. Exhale all the way around and up to the sky. So breathing in, sharp and deep breath. Exhale all the way around. Relax your throat, let the air flow out of your lungs, through your throat, out through your lips. So circle here. Go as far as you can away from your center, as long as the center stays grounded. See if you can really feel any place of your leg muscles that are tight, lengthening and stretching here, like you feel the outer thigh and hip, and then coming to the other side, you may feel the inner thigh. Let's do one more like this. The arms are working to help stabilize the upper body, which will help you also stabilize the pelvis. And now let's reverse. Take the leg out to the side and exhale, reach it low. Circle it across the body and lift it up high. So we stretch into the band. The band stretches to help support the weight of the leg as it spirals through the air. Think of it as a spiral, as if the foot was going further and further from the hip socket with every single circle here. Come all the way around to the top, get the stretch. Now the left hand holds the band, the right hip is grounded. We take the leg out to the left, try not to rotate the pelvic calves over to the left as well. Try to rotate it to the right actively, and then rock the leg here. Exhale to lift the leg up to the sky. Switch hands. Left arm extends. Look at your hand, cross the leg over, reach the foot, feel that length, rotate the leg internally. Maybe you have a little bit more rotation here after doing that spiraling exercise on the roller to begin. Exhale, we come down diagonally from the shoulder to the waist to the hip. Lift the leg up and then fold the knee into your chest. Bend to the side. And we pull the leg in tight and then bring it towards the left armpit. So it's a little bit to the outside of the rib cage, still keeping the right hip and leg grounded and pressing towards the floor. Good, so come back to center, bring it into your chest, and we roll forward that for rolling like a ball. Hold on to your shins, elbows wide, inhale, we lift the tail, roll your shoulder blades. Exhale, right back up to your balance. Be sure, of course, you have enough padding under your back to make this a pleasure and not a pain. Sometimes, particularly people who have a very arched lower back, they call that like a little extra lordosis, that inward curve here, will have trouble trying to round that part of the back into the mat, in which case you could fold like a towel at that place so that you have something soft to press into, and that will actually help you develop a little bit more curve. Otherwise, what happens is the body tenses up and you will not slam into the ground. You want to softly curve the spine so you can roll like a ball. Come all the way back to center and out into the ab series. So right hand to right ankle, left hand to below the right knee on the shin. Push the left leg away and try to come down with control as you reach the legs one up and one out. Elbows wide, inhale, switch. And exhale, switch. The knee pulls in tight to your chest and the other leg extends long, straight out the socket. You're looking right down your midline so you can see the tracking of your legs. The toes are soft. Don't overpoint because then you'll feel the foot cramp. And of course, any extra tension like that reduces your range of motion besides being really uncomfortable, right? We're going to end, play the left leg in, one hand to each shin, and inhale, stretch. Arms and legs up to the ceiling, away from center. Circle wide with the arms, embrace the legs in. And then lengthen again. Circle here. At the most advanced version, the toes slide down, stable on the floor with thigh level, and then you pull everything in, embracing the legs to your chest. You can reach out and then pull it back. We'll do one more, whichever angle works for you. Scissors, right leg up, left leg forward. Look down at your abs and inhale to switch, exhale to switch again. We're trying to go with a little awareness that you don't just like drop the legs into gravity and then you don't just throw them up in the air, but you're pushing through the air like you're moving through water. You feel the weight that you're moving here with the strength of your core, with your psoas muscles. Let's lift the left leg up, both legs rise, bring your hands to support the base of your skull. Double leg, lower leg, the legs stretch out and away. Feel the abs really engaged, so hold the pelvis level, and then exhale. The legs are pulled up by those deep psoas muscles. And then you press it away. Try to pull your head up higher to lengthen your neck and get a little more feeling of length and decompression in your spine. Reaching out. There is a tendency if you take your legs too low, your shoulders will fall back into the ground. So try to keep fighting to work with those upper abs and hold the body in that same upper ab curl. Once you lift the legs, you rotate to the right, twist the left leg as well, and then spin to the left as the right leg extends. Coming up and around, Trying to pull yourself up on the tip of the shoulder blade and you're twisting towards. It's less about just pulling the elbow over to the knee, more about pulling the chest onto the thigh. When you do this, try to really keep your torso engaged in the line of your hips. Come back to center, lay it down, embrace the knees in nice and tight, and then we'll stretch the legs forward and open them up as we lift for spine stretch. So coming up, and then you can open the leg, come upright, most advanced arms up towards the ceiling. So here, if you need help, if you need assist, you can bend the knees or elevate your hips. But we're going to look up, lift the chest. The lower part of the body should be vertical, perpendicular to the ground. And then exhale, palms forward, look down and dive over your legs. There's a space between them actually. And you suck the belly back and up so that your spine is curved and you're not just hinging at the hip. Press down into your heels, down to your sits bones, sink the tail, and you lift a step up on top of it. And then it's a wonderful action step, head, throat, and the upper back goes backwards. Lower part of the body stays vertical. Make sure you have the strength not to tip back into a more than a 90-degree angle at your hips. Diving forward, the back stretches. Then we zip the back up that imaginary wall. Picture the wall ending about T10, T12. And then the upper back goes over the wall. You rest your blades on the top of that brick wall there. Coming back to center one more time. That leads you out, head, neck, upper back, mid back, low back, and the belly sinks back. Right out with a little bit of a pelvic tuck position, with the tail moving forward. Hold on to your feet, to your legs, and suck the waist back even more. Your body like a sail catching the wind. And then we're sliding the hands along the legs as you pull the legs in for open leg balance, and then rock them. Balance on your sacrum, and extend the right leg up. Stretch the leg here, and then exhale, fold it back down. And now the left. Shoulder stays easy on your back. Right leg again. Exhale, fold. Now the left. As it comes down, get ready. We're taking both legs up. Narrow the big feet and knees about just the width of your shoulders, and lift again here. Different challenge for the body to stay balanced here on your sacrum. One more time to lift and hold. Slide your hands around a little bit to the outer calf. Look down, lift the tail, roll back to your shoulder blades. Exhale, forward and up. Find the balance with a rounded curved spine. So roll easy on. The more your spine looks and feels and is curved, the better it is going to be for rolling. Back to the blades, exhale, forward to your balance. So close the legs, and you can bend your knees here or keep them in the air. We're going to roll the spine down, work your way down here, and the arms press at your side and lift the legs for just the regular corkscrew. And the intermediate version is with the hips grounded. So we take the legs over to the right, forward and down, over to the left, bring them up to the sky, and then reverse. You could make this easier by putting a TheraBand around your feet. If the back line is really tight, you might elevate your hips on your hands. You also would have the option of bending your knees a little bit and trying to keep the legs really elevated towards the ceiling. But while you're doing it, be sure that you're going slowly enough that you feel the work in your obliques, working against the weight of the legs so that you're not tipping the pelvis. Really trying to keep yourself grounded here on your mat, right and left, regardless of where the legs are. So we're going to end here and fold the knees in. Go forward and up for soft. Coming up to open the legs. Again, this is another exercise where you might elevate your hips on the yoga block or a small stool. Arms out to the side. Reach out long through the fingers. We're going to rotate to the right. The back arm stretches behind you, reach long through the fingertips. Curving around here, trying to think the ears coming towards the knee. And then lift to pull yourself up, center, and then to the other side. So right hand comes, the back of the right hand to the outside of the leg. The left arm reaches behind you. And try to look back and give yourself a little bit more rotation to the upper back. So we're not looking down at the knee. We're trying to look up and back around the shoulder to feel that rotation in the upper back and the neck. Come center, spin again. Think about that, because most people just dive over like they're pulling their forehead to the big toe. We want to go enough around behind you, feel that rotation. Slide over and then pull your left chest towards the right knee. And right arm up and back behind you. So you can actually feel the right shoulder blade slide towards the left side of your body. And then coming upright to center. Twist and dive to your left. Again, find the extra rotation through the upper back. Neck and head. Come center, still with the rotation, unwind. Arms down and legs together. You're flipping over onto your stomach, swan with the roller. Okay, so top of your feet on the ground, arms extend out. Straight arms, they can be a little wider if you know that your chest is tight. Suspend your head off the ground, ears between arms. Now pull the collarbones wide, the shoulder blades down your back as you pull your head and your heart forward. Lift up into a bit of extension here. You're lifting your gaze, you're feeling the stretch in the abdominal wall. Even the skin is stretching, right? And you're coming down, gradually releasing out of that stretch. The back lengthens as you come to the floor. And then let's do that again. So pull back here, heart rises up, eyes lift too. And down you go, take your time coming to the ground. All the way down, floating the head off the mat so you can still breathe one more time. Just rises here to lift. There's a forward tug. Try to pull the heart away from the navel, away from the pubic bone, which is pressing into the ground, and then all the way down. Put the roller aside, and then sit back in your child's pose, rounding the back, curving it. And then forward onto your elbows now for the single leg kicks. All right, push the forearms into the ground. Anchor the base of the pelvis and pull your chest forward and away from it. Again, feel that stretch in the abs. Take the right heel in, 1, 2, and then down on the left. Pulse 1, pulse 2, and you release. No collapsing. You want to keep the chest lifted. You want to keep the arms working. Gaze is looking up towards your hairline or up towards the ceiling. And you're definitely pulling back with the triceps so that you can widen the chest and also broaden it. So the front of the rib cage should be opening, the back of the rib cage is closing as you try to pull the tips of your scapula together. A lot going on. Pelvis is heavy here into the ground, so there's no bucking of the hips up and down as you do the pulsing of your legs. Do one more set. First ending with the beat of the lift. Come on down, lay yourself down, turn your head to the right, and overlap your hands high on the rib cage. Elbows fall to the ground. Take a deep breath in, lengthen the body. As you exhale, 3 beats with both legs. Pulse 1, 2, 3. It stretches your quads. Press the legs down. Intertwine the thumbs if you can. Arms straight, reach the back and low as you lift the chest up into that cobra or swan position. Coming down and turn to the left. And again, pulse 1, pulse 2, pulse 3. Exhale. Arms go back. Stretch them low, reach out long for your feet and your fingertips. Coming down and then pulse again. You're pushing the air out of your lungs with every beat. And then we're coming up. Bring it down again. One last time. To the left. We end with the top of the feet to the floor. The arms reach back. The chest rises. And then you can bring your hands by your shoulders, by your armpits. Push off the ground to your child's pose. Round your back, stretch it out. Back, lift the spine coming up. And we'll go into neck fold here. So this is a harder version of roll up. If you struggle with roll up, you may want to use your fair band. Just demo that for the first one. So the band around your feet, you would sit up nice and tall. And then you want to hinge back, lean back with a neutral spine in a plank. When you need to, you tuck, you curl the tail up, you roll your spine down. Come all the way down, and then you're lifting the head, neck, and the chest coming up. You pull the elbows wide and then back. As you dive over your legs, you can stretch the back behind you. And then coming upright, come all the way up to stack the spine. Otherwise, you can take your hands behind your head, pull the skull up, lengthen the waist, tip back here, press up with your legs. Top, pull it down, the elbows probably come in, leaving the arms like forward so you have control on the way to the ground. Coming up most advanced, both hands to your head. That's not me today. So we're going to press the fist into the palm, up, and use that pressure to engage into your lats. As soon as you can, you bring your hands behind your head and you dive forward, pull the neck long, pulling the waist back, and then articulate the spine all the way up. Let's do one more like this, so lean back. Top, roll yourself down. It's better to move the arms so you have control of your spine than to keep your hands to your head. That's a mistake that a lot of people make, is they are looking for the advanced position before they're ready to do it, and then you can hurt yourself. And you're not going to actually strengthen yourself by taking a position that you're not ready to hold. So come all the way up and last time to the ground. So lean back, press the legs away. Curve your body down here, all the way down. And now we're moving into shoulder bridge. The legs come in and arch like this. So we begin with the pelvic tuck, curl the tail up and forward, the knees slide out. You can push down to the top of the shoulders, lift the chest, and then lift the hips. Let's add kicks. So you pull the right knee into your chest, extend the right leg up to the ceiling. Point the foot to take it down, flex the foot to bring it up. Point, lower, flex, lift. And then point the foot, bend the knee, lower the foot, elevate the hips. And then let's pull the left leg in. You're suspending the left pelvis off the right. Lift the leg up, point down, flex to go high. Every time you lift the leg, try to lift the pelvic half with the energy from the heel rising to the ceiling. Now point the foot at the top, bend the knee, keep lifting the knee to keep the hip up, lower the foot. If your left side is fallen, push through that left leg and push up with the left glute, and then work your body all the way down. The size of the kicks will vary depending on your ability to stabilize your hips in the air, right? And also, it depends on your psoas length to take the leg down well. So another just a basic bridge coming up, pull back with the heels, pull forward with the knees, pick up the chest, pull the blades underneath you, together behind you. Glutes are working hard to lift the hip as high as possible. And then roll to the inner arm, pull the blades separate, and you drape your body down between the shoulder blades and continue draping the spine down one vertebra after the next. So you're all the way down to the tail. We're going up one more time to do the kick, starting with the left leg. So rock the pelvis, coming up, back with your heels, forward with the shins, come to the top. Press into your right foot, pull the left leg in, extend the leg up. Let's flex to go down and a point to lift. Flex down, point up. Flex down, hip high, point up, bend the knee, replace the foot, square off the pelvis, lift it, pull the right knee in, extend the leg, flex, push the leg forward and down, point, draw an arc in the air. Whatever your range of motion is. And then fold, lower, hips up, and then roll to the inner arms, curve your back down. Every vertebra touches the mat in sequence. Come all the way down on the tail releases. Okay, we're coming up now to sitting for spine twist. And the legs are together here, feet flexed. Arms extend out to the side. Push down with the arms, lift up with your chest, and rotate to the right, and pulse 1, 2, 3. Lift to center and then spin to the left. Center here and to the right. And again. One more time. At the same level, try to keep the feet balanced and equal here. As if they're up against the wall. We lower the arms down, slide the hips a little forward, lay down on your mat for deck. So again, if you're still working on this exercise, you can take the roller across under your sacrum. We're going to pull the knees into the chest, extend the legs up and a little forward. So this difference from rollover in that we're going to go over low and then lift the legs high. So we come up and over. You keep the hips in the air, you lift the legs up using your glutes and your hamstrings. Maybe you lower the legs and then pull your spine down here. Press with the hands so that you delay descending. So you're in control, and then you stretch the legs out again. And then we're coming up. Try to look up and back so that you're not choking yourself with your chest as you lift the torso. Come down from the stretch of the lower back as you descend one vertebra after the next. Just one more. The hips rise, the feet lift. Still not over pointing the feet. You're long across the top of the foot and the ankle, but you're not gripping your toes. All the way down. And then we can bend the knees and slide the legs forward for some side kicks. So come over, I'll be on my right side. Propping the head up is traditional in the classical technique, but people obviously who have trouble with their neck will lay their head down on their extended arm. Okay, now as you advance, you're going to start taking your hands behind your head, but the difficulty here is keeping the body stable and not rocking the torso against the movement of your leg. But you can try it, right, if you want to. So you can press the bottom leg into the floor, lift the top leg hip height, pull the head long and reach the tail away. Now flex to bring the foot forward, pulse out through the heel, 1, 2, point the foot, take the leg back. Now watch, here's where the body will want to lean forward through the chest. Don't let that happen. Use your obliques, hold your torso steady. So flex to come forward, press here, pulse 1, 2, point, take it back and reach back. The bottom leg is important, pressing into the ground. Flex forward one more time. Pulse and pulse again, point, sweep the leg back. Come back to center. Now, just a thought on this one. So if you're learning to do the advanced hand position, you might start with just a very smart range of motion, very small and smart range of motion, right? Just a little bit forward and a little bit back, and see if you can really stay right on your side seam without rocking forward. Because again, remember, if the leg goes back and you're tight in your hip and you're not, especially if you're not organized in your core, you will naturally pull the chest and head forward as the leg goes back, which isn't going to help open the hip. It's just going to give you like a tilt and a plank over your bottom leg. So we're looking for that stability. Just try one more at whatever range works for you. So the top leg moves forward, you reach out the heel and pulse it once and twice. Swing it back. And again, if you find that you're rocking forward when the leg goes back, rein in the movement, make it smaller, come back to center, we rotate externally. Now this is going to be easier to find your side balance because the leg is moving up in the sagittal plane, right? So point to lift, flex and close it down. Point to lift here, flex and go down. Now reverse, flex high, point, reach it out and down, flex to lift, point and lengthen it away. One more, flex up, point all the way down for développé. Bend the knee, slide the leg in, knee to the armpit, foot to the ceiling, flex, push it out and away. And then we glide the leg in again. Knee comes in, leg lifts, flex, and reach. One more like this. Again, try to stay right on your side seam. Don't tip your chest forward and your butt back. Now reverse. Flex to go up. Point the foot, bend the knee. The toe touches down on the leg. You skate it forward. You lengthen into a flex and you lift, point, bend. Glide it all the way out. You can pull the head away. One more. Point, bend, and all the way forward and down. Rond de jambe. Inhale forward, up, around, back, and through center. So again, because the leg goes forward and then it goes back, this is really hard to do with your hands behind your head. So practice a smaller circle, right? And see where you can start to feel the obliques and the back muscles hold you together like they're the bread in your sandwich. And you hold yourself together here as you gradually extend the size of the circle. And then let's reverse. So you also want to think anything that's connected to the ground is pressing into the floor to help you stay glued into position here. So one more, and then come on back. Okay, so here onto your stomachs for grasshopper. Over on the hands, and we're going to take the legs and turn up and lift those legs from your glutes, open and close pocket. Need to walk through the center of the leg. Imagine your leg like a hose and the water streaming out to the center of each foot. Small movements where you're tapping the heel and rebounding and coming back for more. One more breath. Lower the legs, push off the ground, child's pose. And then stack your spine bottom to top, other side. I know we're always grateful for those child's poses. But they seem to come when you need it. They also make a good transition. You know, if you need to change your direction on the mat. Okay, so you're on your sideline. And the legs are forward, maybe 30 degrees, 35 degrees from the line of your spine. Lift your tail behind you. Pick up the top leg and reflex the foot to bring it forward. Pulseful 2, point, take it back, reach back and open and press. Do that again. And of course, if you don't want to do this with both hands behind your head, maybe not the right day for you, you can always go back to having your hand on the floor in front of your chest. And come back to center, lower the leg, we rotate externally, point up, and flex down. Keep the waist long as you lift the leg, flex, bring heel to heel. Point high, flex and down, reverse it. Flex up, point, stretch it away, flex and lift, point, lengthen out and down. One more like this, all the way down for double pec. Bend the knee, pull the knee into the chest, lift the foot up, flex, and press it down. You glide it in, extend it, flex and close. One more. Good, and then tap reverse, straight leg up, flex foot, point the foot, bend the knee in, tap the toe, skate it down, reach long, flex to lift, point bend, all the way forward and down, lengthen up, point bend, glide it forward here, and now rond de jambe, big circle, inhale forward, up, back, around, and through center. Pull the head away from your shoulders, you pull your shoulders away from your head. Bottom leg is firmly pressing into the ground to help your stability. And let's reverse, take it back, open the hip, circle forward and around, reach back again, and then one more time. All right, good work. So now we're going onto our backs for tees. You're welcome to use spare bands. We're going to start laying down today. This is the most difficult. If you've been following the classes, you know some of the easier variations. You're always welcome to start at the top and legs extended, arms long at your side, palms reach up and fingers reach forward. So we slide the arms forward, chin to chest, scoop the legs up as you come up to your balance point on your sacrum. And then you have to curl the tail up and start to roll onto your sacrum. Push the feet away, lengthen them, stretch the arms forward, and come down. The heels will touch where the tips of the blades do, and then lay your head down. So we're coming up again. Lift your head, lift out your midline, coming up. If it's too much weight with the legs, you can bend your knees here. And then down you go, round the back, you're curving over that sacrum, trying to get the waist down, and come all the way down. Now you definitely have to be careful here that you're not lowering the head before the feet are grounded. Right, so that's why it's super important. We lift the upper arm curl first, then find the lift coming up. And on the reverse, it's the same thing. First, you don't want to lower the legs. You first have to tuck the tail up so that you get some of the sacrum down, and then you can push the legs forward. Be sure that your heels are down when the tip of your blades are down. So you're in an upper arm curl that protects your spine as you go all the way down. Otherwise, you will arch the back, and with the weight of the legs, you could, certainly it will feel very uncomfortable. You could even, damage the spine a little bit. So we want to be sure that we're doing these exercises thoughtfully and with focus so that you're always careful and know how to protect your body when you get the benefit of the work. All right, so we're doing one more to come up, and then we're going to take the arms back behind us with the hip circles. So arms slide forward, look up, full teaser, coming on up. Bend the knees if you need to. You circle the arms back. We're going to go back onto our elbows, and then pull the waist back, so you kind of traction into the low back here. The legs lift high from his hip circles. So take the legs over. Now here, let's rock the pelvis. You're tipping to one side and then to the other, and then coming up to lift the feet high and then reverse. So the right hip lifts as the legs go to the left. Left hip lifts as you go to the right. Reverse again. So this starts preparing you for the more advanced hip circles. You can always bend your knees so that there's less weight into your back. Try to feel this in your obliques as you do this. One more time, left to right. And then fold your knees in, slide the legs forward. We flip over onto our stomachs now for swimming. All right, so let's prepare with the palms pressing into the floor. Start to pull the head and chest forward, slide the arms back to lift up, and then just start kicking your legs. Then you can add one arm up, and then the other arm up while you kick. And then go ahead and slide on down, and sit back in your child's pose. Round your back, head hangs down. Stack the spine coming up for seal. And go between the legs, wrap around outside of ankles, rock back onto your sacrum. And here we open and close the legs as you exhale, clap. 1, 2, 3. It's an inhale to roll back and clap. Let it go. And exhale forward to clap again. Press arms into legs and legs into arms. Keep your gaze down towards your navel. That way you are sure you're not going to slam the head into the ground. And also that protecting the neck and the head also really depends on how much effort you use, how much energy you use to roll back. And of course, you have to figure that out by practicing, right? And forward. Here we go. I know that we all have issues with exercises. That was one of my hardest ones to start to figure that out. And it wasn't so much like I never really hit my head, thank God, right? But it was hard to figure out how to keep it elevated and clap without like having my hands under my hips for support. So actually first I did practice, just going back and resting my head and trying to get the feeling of lift, like lifting the weight of the hips out of my hands. So I can kind of feel like what that felt like to have the energy go up instead of just dropping everything back down into the mat. And then I sort of talked myself into thinking that when I was balanced on my shoulders, I could pull the tail up in the air and stall. And then that would give me the time to clap. And that worked for me, but everyone has their own ways of figuring out because everyone's body is a little different. Was that ever hard for you?
Yeah, I have a hard time elevating it.
Yeah. And then what did you think about to make it successful?
I guess it's sort of like a jackknife only.
Right.
Right. So it's that motion.
Yeah, that's
Right.
exactly correct.
Yeah.
Any thoughts from you on that?
The lifting your tailbone to the ceiling works for me.
Yeah.
But that's interesting to think of it that way, because I don't equate the two, the jackknife and that is the same.
Right, and I'll tell you, like teaching people to do jackknife, even in the studio when you've got a lot of equipment that can help them, it's one of the hardest things for people to figure out that you're not just using your strength, you also have to use sort of like the energetic press up in a jackknife, in a rollover, on the equipment, in like short spine and long spine. That you have the ability to push your pelvis up and away from your shoulders when you're inverted. And so sometimes what we'll do when I'm in the room with somebody, I can have them like do a jackknife and I have them press their feet up into my hand, because then they get that feeling of lift, which is separate from just like dropping into your shoulders and feeling like grounded. You need both to feel that suspension and inversions. And I know when I was going through my yoga training and was working on, the inversions there, I did really well thinking of an image of like fire coming from the ground up through my body and the smoke coming out through my feet and my tail, right? Or I would think of water like a fountain running through me continuously to get that feeling of the energy rising and the reach up into the sky. So we'll figure out like what works for us. And sometimes it's pressing into someone's hand, sometimes it's finding the right image, and sometimes it's just practicing it like a million times. And trying all of those things, right, until something clicks for you. Anyway, thank you guys for being here today, and do believe we're here next week.